There's was a meme or a TikTok, and it was like saying like people who were self aware. Like I'm very self aware, but I might still go do the toxic things. Do you? Because I get it.
Hi, you guys. My name is Brandon Baker, and welcome to a very special episode of Breakfast with BB, featuring my best friend, Corwin.
What?
It was a bug on.
Okay. Are we ready? Let's get this thing started, ho.
Oh, wait a minute. Ain't nobody done.
And welcome to another episode of Breakfast with BB. My name is Brandon Baker, aka BB, and on today's episode, I am very excited because I'll be introducing you guys to one of my closest and bestest friends. His name is Corwin Rhynes. He is here to ask me the pivotal questions that I think you all would want answers to, because again, like this podcast is supposed to serve all people, supposed to serve all of us. It's supposed to decomplicate and debunk, mindfulness for millennials and Gen Z, hopefully other generations, but particularly those who are within our age range, because we kind of struggle with this stuff. We're new to this. I'm here to debunk some of that stuff, decomplicate it, and break it down so that we all can understand and grow and heal together. And Corwin's going to ask those questions for us today. Corwin, would you like the mic now? Are you ready for me?
Yes. Okay. Basically, I just feel like John John's type of person to do the work. Can I?
Y'all, one second. Corwin is insisting on calling me John. That's my nickname. And
you told me not to do that.
I did tell you not to do that. It's okay.
Brandon BB, he is someone who does a whole lot of the shadow work. Sometimes we get into a season of we want to be self-aware but toxic at the same time. Okay. So I feel like what? Right? Don't we all want to be right now I'm in that season of damn, I done did so much work on myself that bitch, I fucking don't know what to do no more, and I'm gonna be toxic again.
Hold on, do it. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
How do you keep that balance of what you, how can I say this? How do you keep that balance of having fun with yourself and keeping yourself interested in positivity, because it's so easy to get trapped in toxic stuff because it's fun. It's just fun sometimes, and I'm saying it's fun, but I shouldn't promote that. It's not fun. It feels fun. So how do you ground yourself and all that kind of stuff?
Oh wow, that's an excellent question, Corwin. That was really good, actually. To be honest, I think there's a point in time where you kind of actually transcend positive and negative, and you realize that all of life is an experience that is to be held and had and interacted with. Corwin sees me as the positive friend, the person that's going to put a smile on his face and that's going to be a joy to be around. And that's great too. But for me, for a long time, I boxed myself in because I felt like I needed to be that person for everyone and everybody. So when I experienced emotions or I interacted with emotions that felt less than positive, that felt negative, or what I judged as negative, I didn't allow myself to feel them. So I wasn't really a whole person in that instance. I thought I was. I was like, oh, bitch, I'm happy, I'm good, I'm positive. But even today, me and Corwin, we had a few obstacles in trying to get this recording set up for you guys. And I really had a moment where I was like, damn, bitch, I'm really about to lose it. I'm really over it. And, for Corwin, I don't know. Do you feel like you're used to seeing me that way?
I feel like it's interesting that you say that, because I really had to. This was a learning experience for me, because just seeing everything that you go through is kind of humbling, because I know this happens at all levels.
Yeah.
And that's something I really had to be this isn't just a thing that happens here. It happens all the time for from the highest productions to probably the lowest productions, or the ones that honestly don't make it. So,
Mm-hmm.
am I used to seeing you like that? Not really, but and you like that was like wow, like and you like made things like you being on camera like today kind of like made me like feel like you know what I mean? It kind of like it was like a eye opener because I like know it isn't easy to be like vulnerable even before the camera to like prep and be like vulnerable is a lot. So
Oh, thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate that, Corwin. And that's the thing I've had to realize. Like, I'm not of service to anyone if I'm delivering half truths, if that makes sense. So it's like I could be the person that's like, oh, I'm always upbeat and I always feel joyful or happy, but that's not real. And that's not part of the human experience. Like, you're supposed to experience all emotions. That's what wholeness is, Like, it's funny because the other day I was on the phone with my line brother Jonathan, and we were talking about Nipsey Hussle, and he did this interview, and he was like, "B, you have to see it," because we're both very big Nipsey Hussle fans. And he was like, "You have to see it." And Nipsey was basically talking about how, like, the road to success isn't necessarily always an easy one, but he was saying that, like, I feel like I've transcended myself because I've gone through all the emotions. So, like, when you experience every emotion in its fullness and its rawness, and you embrace it for what it is, and don't necessarily identify with them, but just you allow yourself to feel them as they come, and let them teach you what they're supposed to and what they may, then you realize that you're actually more than the emotion. You're stronger than the emotion. So you can experience all things. You can experience all setbacks, or what you perceive as setbacks, because really it's just a judgment anyway. But what you perceive as a setback, and then realize, like, wow, like, life continues on. And so in those moments, I've realized that it's like it's not about trying to maintain a certain level of positivity, quote unquote, or negativity, or any balance necessarily. It's about moving in harmony with life. It's about allowing life to be harmonious. Sometimes you're gonna be sad, and sometimes you're gonna be happy, and both are okay. Both is good. It's all good. All of it is good. We just don't realize that. We fail to understand, like, the true essence of what life is supposed to be. And that's, even boredom is important. It's necessary too. It's just we judge them. But when you allow yourself to be like today, me and Corin were about to record. I forgot my actual mic, and I just, y'all, for if you listen to episode 2 or 3, you know that I talked about forgetting to plug my or turn my mic on when I was recording a full episode. So forgetting my actual mic that I literally purchased specifically for this podcast was like a blow to the fucking gut, but it was necessary. It was part of the process in dissolving my ego so that I can show up more fully when I create, so that I can show up more as the true essence of who I am, not the perfectionist that I think needs to be perfect or always get everything right. Like today, the lighting's not necessarily great. There's construction work going off in the background. And it's like, technically, a lot of people be like, bitch, this is fucking chaotic. This should have been a canceled production. But I feel like this was an opportunity for God to show me that it doesn't have to play out the way that I perceive that it should, or that I think that it should, or even that I want it to. That all ways are right and all ways are good, positive or negative. You may be in that mode where you're trying to be toxic, or you feel like you want to be toxic, or you're feeling led to toxicity. And that's still okay. That's still good. I'm not saying act upon that. That's why I said sit with your emotions. Really feel that. Like, when you're bored, sit with the boredom. Allow it. Embrace it. Okay, you're bored today. Don't call nobody. Don't call nobody. Don't go do anything. Sit with the boredom and allow it, because the reason you don't allow it, or the reason it's not really serving you in the way that it could, is because you're judging it. But like sadness, it comes to serve you. Happiness, it comes to serve you and teach you. Joy, it comes to serve you and teach you. All things work together for our good. For real, for real. And I know it doesn't always feel like that. It doesn't always seem like that. It's still hard to believe at times. Trust and believe, I get it. Because a few minutes ago, I was ready to dead this whole project. I was like, bitch, why am I still running into these obstacles? I've been creating content for years. What's going on here? But we keep moving. We move with the punches. We don't stop, okay? Life doesn't stop. The moments are going to pass by, even the moments where you feel stupid, where you feel shameful, where you feel unworthy, where you feel less than or not enough. All those are fleeting things and just fleeting emotions, and they'll come. They'll make you feel a certain way, or you'll feel a certain way because it triggers something inside of you. Because I was feeling real triggered. And that feeling of failure, that feeling of, damn, can I get this shit right? But it's like, it's all right. All of it is right. When I forget my microphone, I'm still in the right. When I have my microphone, I'm still in the right. When I forget to turn my camera on, because my camera just shut off, y'all. So if you see part of this in damn picture form, it's okay. But like, shit, we make it do what it do. We make it work, because that's life. Learning to work with what you got, okay? So, hold up, I'm gonna hand the mic back over to Corwin and then actually get our camera set up again.
What John does is, and this is why I love talking to him, and this is what I mean by he does the shadow work, because he has a tendency in a lot of our conversations to answer like 5 or 6 questions I have lined up before I'm even going to answer them. So he kind of, in review, he kind of like cleared up the toxicity that I've been feeling. But I will say this, was a meme or a TikTok, and it was like saying like people who are self-aware, like, I'm very self-aware, but I might still go do the toxic things. Because I get it. Right, some of us get it, but we sometimes do toxic things. So is that like subconscious work? Is that meditation, or do you feel like it's something with your emotions that I need to master? Because after hearing what you just said, I feel like it's something in my emotion I need to master. And yeah, because I feel like a lot of my life in the past year, I spent time trying to escape from my reality by just doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, or not to shame myself, but just to say that have put me in spots of bad cycles,
Okay.
or like toxic cycles.
Okay.
And I'm aware of that, but I may still involve myself in toxic cycles.
Okay.
So what do you think is like some like coping like thing that you could do to kind of get into a higher frequency and stay there, if that makes sense?
Ooh, you said a lot.
I know I did.
You said a whole lot. I'm gonna try to hit it, but and if I can't, that's okay. So you said the pivotal thing of not shaming yourself. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I feel like it's all spiritual, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like everything is spiritual. We think it's supposed to be separate. Like, we think like religion and spirituality are separate, or we think that school and spirituality is separate, or we think that the mundane things like washing dishes are not spiritual. Like, no, all of it is a spiritual experience. Trust and believe. And the thing is, the fact that we have human forms and that we have bodies make it that much more extraordinary. Because, like, think about it. If I was out here, because we're out here in one of my favorite places, and it's like the most gorgeous field, and the grass is growing, and spring has sprung, and it just feels great to be out here. But like, if I didn't have the sensation of my fingers to feel the grass, or my feet in the grass right now, if I didn't have my eyes to see the sky, it's like it wouldn't be as meaningful. You know what I'm saying? And so like, your emotions kind of make the experience that much meaningful. And so I think it's not a matter of trying to do emotional work, or trying to do self-care work, or what's the term, the self-help work. It's not necessarily even about that. It's not about the self-improvement. I think it's literally all a spiritual thing, and like, allowing the space for your emotions to be heard is part of the spiritual experience. Like, think about it. Jesus took like what 40 days and went to the damn Garden of Gethsemane or whatever it was. You know what I'm saying? Went into the wilderness, and he was like, "Bitch, I'm about to go out here and I'm about to be by myself. I'm about to listen and hear the voice of God and see what He wants from me. I'm gonna take some time out for Jesus Himself, for Himself, just to see like, hey, there's more to this life." There's more to this experience than just being around people. There's more than the emotions that we overcome, or we not even overcome, but we feel like we need to combat. There's more to this like self-awareness thing, because it's less about being self-aware than it is just being awareness in totality. Like Jesus operated from consciousness. So, technically there's a subconscious, whatever, but like I think expanding your awareness is what expands all of it. And that is the essence of spirituality.
What's the difference between awareness and subconscious work?
Okay. So awareness is that which is everything. Like I think of God as all things, and I think of God in His purest essence as awareness, or the conscious mind, as some people might say, the mind of God. And so like your consciousness, or how conscious you truly are, or you allow yourself to be, really, because it's not a thing that you can force, helps to expose you to the things or to the practices or the habits that may not necessarily be serving you. So in those moments where you're like, okay, I'm self-aware, like I know this doesn't serve me, but I'm still doing it. It's like, okay, but like, let's break this down a little bit further. Let's break this down a little bit further. What is it that entices you to do the behaviors that you feel like are toxic? Because we're all aware most times of like a behavior that's going to cause us harm. Most of the time we're aware that there's going to be a consequence to be faced, but we still do it. So your awareness then requires you to expand in moments like that. And it almost is like for me now, when I'm about to do certain things, it's like earlier when I was sad about not having my mic, I was just like, I need to sit here and feel this. And like Corwin was trying to cheer me up, because we're often taught that our emotions are bad things. So we're taught that like sadness is something we need to overcome. And no, now I'm in a space where it's like, no, sadness is something I need to experience and allow. So that way, when this happens again, I'm not operating from a trigger space. I'm not operating from the space of like, okay, I'm aware that I'm sad. No, it's like, I allowed the sadness, and so now the sadness can teach me that much more about myself, and I can realize I'm separate from the sadness. In fact, it's not me at all. I can realize that I'm separate from the person that performs the toxic traits. I'm separate from the person that goes and does a thing that feels like that, or goes and does a thing after I feel triggered. I'm not that. So then if I'm not that, who am I? That's awareness. Who are you? That's the questions you should be asking yourself. At least for me, that's been very pivotal in my growth, in my journey thus far, is asking the questions that do lead to awareness, because there are empowering questions and there are disempowering questions. Awareness or empowering questions lead to awareness, or a higher level of awareness, or an elevated sense of awareness. Disempowering questions lead to acts that you regret. And even regret is okay. Even regret is allowed. We often don't allow regret because we see it as something that's wrong, but like that's an actual factual part of life. We're supposed to experience regret, because the thing is, we don't know what's going on here. Like we're uncertain about a lot of things. So you don't know if things went the way they were supposed to go or not supposed to go, but they did. That's what awareness teaches you. Things went exactly how they were supposed to. It's okay. Wait, go ahead.
So is shame and regret like similar, you think?
I would say that what's the term?
Synonymous.
Not synonymous, but they're two birds of a different feather. I think that's what it say. I don't know the saying.
Almost like if you've seen it's like a clump of like a iceberg. Have you seen like a yeah, I don't know either.
You talking about Titanic, boy?
No, the ice because like there's a never mind.
No, I would say that shame and regret, they're like sisters almost. You know, they can be synonymous, but they I think they originate from different places sometimes. So like, you know, for example, I would say um shame was what I was feeling earlier because, again, as I told you guys, like I've been creating content at scale for years now. So in my mind, in my psyche, I believe that I should be ahead of the game by now. Like I should be past the point of making provincial and no vice mistakes because I'm not a rookie technically in this game anymore. So the fact that I feel shameful about forgetting my mic originates from the idea that, like, oh, I should know better than this in the first place. Whereas regret kind of comes from the space where it's like, oh, I wish I did that, or I wish it had gone this way, or I wish I was better than I am. It's not necessarily like the oh, I should have known better. It's the I just wish it had went differently. You know, and both of them come from the same place. Really, it's a judgment. It's a inner child that was not seen or heard, or that experienced some form of trauma, and so again, the character inside, that's the ego. Really, is telling you, okay, you did this wrong, or you should be different than you are, or you should know better, or you should do better, or you should expect better of yourself. But all of that is a judgment, because in every given moment, you're doing the best you know how to do. You're moving and operating from the highest space and state of awareness that you know at that time. So like today, I didn't know I forgot my mic. It was at the house. What use is beating up on myself going to do? You know, I can't operate from an awareness that I didn't have. So if you didn't have the awareness, that's okay. But again, shame and regret, both things, they're synonymous, but either way, they're both okay. That's what the point of this whole long ass answer was. So yes, next question.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that got real long.
See, and once again, he answered like 2 or 3 of my questions in one. Okay.
Oh, girl, I felt like I was talking in circles on that one.
No, you. I feel like you really like opened up a lot, and I feel like this episode is oh, sorry. I feel like this episode is very what is the word? I feel like hold on. Can I?
No, keep going.
I feel like like right now I feel at peace right now, and I feel like he answered a lot of what I've just been feeling all around. And as far as questions goes, I don't really have any more. I don't got no more questions. He just talked about awareness. He just talked about shame, regret. He just cleared up a lot of stuff, and